So we're going to move on now to our exercise demo. So we've heard a lot about the importance of exercise. And so we have Nancy Campbell with us from the Zakim Center at Dana-Farber to give us a little exercise demo. And after the exercise demo, we're going to give you all a little break this morning. So we'll have the exercise demo for about 20 minutes. We'll break until 10:45, and then we'll return with our breast imaging update. So I'm going to turn it over to Nancy.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to get us marching in place here. So if you've been sitting all morning listening to these wonderful talks, go ahead and stand up with me. We'll start marching in place. A huge thank you to Dr. King, the planning committee. It's my third year, so I greatly appreciate coming back every year and joining all of you. So we're going to do a little bit of warm up, just because most of us, I'm going to assume, have been sitting, although maybe some of you have been, listening to this on a walk outside or on your treadmill or something like that. And then we're going to move into some strength moves. So we've heard a lot about the impact of exercise so far today. I work in the Zakim Center at Dana-Farber, so I work with a lot of breast cancer survivors. We're going to go into a V-step. So we're going to step forward wide and then back narrow. I'm going to alternate my feet, add some hand movement here. So a lot of the women that I talk to, whether it's in the Zakim Center or outside in the community, for most of us, walking is at least easy in the sense that short of a good pair of sneakers, whether that's hopefully, cooperating or indoor exercise, for most of us, that piece is, again, on the easy side. The strength piece is where it gets a little complicated. COVID's thrown some wrenches into that for people. If you used to go to the gym, maybe you don't feel comfortable going back, things like that. I'm hoping this morning to kind of show you how to incorporate some strength moves easily into your day. So that is my goal here. We're going to do 3 more, 2 more, 1 more. Now we're going to march a bit wider so that from the wide march, we can bend one knee and then the other. So my goal, minimal equipment here, minimal space, help you get all your major muscle groups covered in a short period of time. I think for all of us, that's a big key is, not enough hours in the day. So if we can find ways to sneak this activity in, even potentially on a Zoom call, if your camera's not on, or we can get creative here, or, some things we'll do today, like when you're brushing your teeth at night, things like that, taking advantage of that. We're going to do 3 more with each leg, 2 more, 1 more. Now we're going to do a tap and a reach. So the main reason I tend to do a movement like this is for us to think about our shoulder blades and moving them. So you'll also notice I'll kind of go through and reach in different directions. Because sometimes those shoulder blades will get a little sticky, little cobwebs in there that we want to kind of dust off. So moving through, so really trying to actively reach with those arms. 3 more to each side, 2 more, 1 more. Okay, we'll go back to our march. We'll bring our feet still. So hopefully that got the blood flowing a little bit. We're going to transition now to more strength-based stuff. So I'm going to demo a plie squat. If you know that plie squats don't work in your body, a regular squat is totally fine. So if you're joining me for the plie, you are wider than your hip distance, turning your toes as far to the side as they can comfortably go. You could grab weights. You could just use your body weight. I tend to hold my hands here. If you have a weight, you can hold it here. We're going to lower down into a plie squat and then come all the way back up. So again, down and up. So we could do this, while we're brushing our teeth, standing, depending on how willing you are to do things like this in public, waiting for the bus, things like that. But again, taking a couple of minutes, we get a lot of bang for our buck here. We get some inner thigh, not a muscle we use a lot. We got some quads in the front. We got some hamstrings and glutes in the back. Get a little balance because our feet are turned down a little bit. So get a good amount of benefit from just this one exercise, which is great. We'll do 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. And up. Okay. So we just got, again, a lot of lower body stuff going. So let's move to upper body. I will demo this with a weight. If you happen to have weights nearby, soup cans, water bottles, wine bottle, go ahead and grab that. That's always a possibility. So you could come to a wall, you could have a chair in front of you, or you could just put your hand on your opposite thigh. So again, minimal equipment here. So my arm's gonna come forward, and then I'm gonna pull up to my hip bone. Forward. So I'm sort of moving in a diagonal motion. So I'm kind of coming down and forward, up and back. So really good for posture, helping us kind of undo our more typical daily posture of the shoulders rounding forward. So here, helping to keep those upper back muscles nice and strong. So one of the challenges that a lot of people will mention, particularly exercising at home, is maybe not having the array of weights that a gym had. We're going to do 2 more with this side. 1 more. We're going to switch. So opposite foot forward, and then weight in the opposite hand. Slight lunge forward. Again, we exhale up and back. So, back to this sort of Goldilocks concept. You've got weights at home that are really light. You might have another random weight at home that's too heavy. And so how do we work with this? So you have a couple of options. Something like this, we're working some, our biggest, strongest upper body muscles here. A lot of these back muscles. So you could potentially grab the heavier object, as long as it's, safe. Do as many as you can, and it might be 2 or 3. And then go ahead and lower to either a lighter weight, maybe just the weight of your arm. And then when it's on the lighter side, just go a little bit slower. So instead, I'm going up for about 2 or 3. You can go up for about 3 or 4. I'm going to do 1 more on this side. Exhale. And down. Okay. So just with these 2 exercises, we've covered leg muscles, upper back muscles. So we've already done a lot. I'm going to throw in some balance here. So I'm going to grab a chair. You are welcome to just use a wall, just for demo purposes. Here, I'm going to use my chair. So I feel like we all need to be thinking about balance and keeping it as part of our routine. So the leg that's closest to the chair or the wall, you're going to shift your weight into it so this other leg has some room to move. From here, this outside leg is going to move out to the side and then back down, ideally not putting any weight into it. So it goes out as far as feels comfortable. But as you come down, you just don't want to shift your weight back. So balance, again, always important. Certainly with, the season following this one, I'm having a hard time even acknowledging that it's October today and fall, but knowing that winter is, at least here in the Northeast, around the corner, potentially, snow, ice, things like that. We're going to do 2 more, where balance is exceptionally important. I do 1 more. We're going to switch sides. So, same thing, leg closest to the chair, shift your weight, other foot, try to keep those toes pointed forward as you go out. But what I often remind people, when we see black ice, or we know that there's black ice, or it's snowing, we tend to modify the speed that we're walking, be a little bit more cautious. I think where some of us get tripped up is weather that's potentially starting out your window today is rain paired with wet leaves, which doesn't always occur to us that that can be almost more slippery and dangerous than black ice. So knowing the more we improve that balance will help us year round, but certainly in the coming 2 seasons here in the Northeast. We'll do 2 more on this leg out. You can always pause out here if you're not really feeling these. We'll do 1 more. Okay, so we mostly did that from a balance perspective, but I'm going to assume that many of you, myself included, feel this in the hip muscles, ones that we don't, again, use a ton in a daily basis. So we're going to round out our upper body by doing some chest work. And normally anytime I talk about doing push-ups, I get a lot of pushback from people saying, I can't do those are too hard. We're going to use our wall here. This is going to help us be able to modify this. Certainly if you have a couch nearby or a countertop, that's great. I'm going to demo with the wall. So my hands wind up about shoulder distance, maybe a smidge wider. And then the further you are from the wall, the more challenging it will be. And obviously there's a limit to how far back you can go. From here, I think of these as a moving plank. So I'm going to inhale, move my body towards the wall in front of me, and then I'm going to exhale and push away. So inhale forward, exhale back. So you'll notice that my elbows are dropping slightly as I come forward. So I'm trying to avoid having them come up and out here. And instead, they're almost pointing in a downward arrow from an elbow to my head to my other elbow. That should feel better on your shoulders if you've traditionally had pain with push-ups in your shoulders. You want to keep that entire surface of your hand against the wall. So try to make sure that you're not doing any kind of clawing with the hands. We'll do 2 more. Inhale forward. Exhale all the way back to straight elbows. 1 more. Okay. So now with 4 exercises, we've really almost gotten all the major muscle groups covered. We're going to do a little bit more balance, but we're going to kind of isolate the calf muscles here. Very important in our ability to walk, run, jump, and some, again, bonus balance. So feet are hip distance apart in front of the chair or the wall. String from the top of your head. You're going to come straight up onto your tippy toes and then slowly back down. So again, straight up. Sometimes when our hands are in front of us, we tend to move in that direction, where instead we want to think about coming straight up towards that ceiling. And this is balance, just like our last one, where you get to determine how much do you need the chair. Safety first, of course. But if you're feeling stable, can you get to 1 or 2 fingertips? Can you potentially hover a little bit? But always sort of having something nearby. This is also a good exercise when you're brushing your teeth, doing the dishes, waiting at the bus stop. So lots of ways to incorporate movements like this. And then I also encourage on this one, to try to be mindful of your foot and how you are distributing your weight. So as you come onto your tippy toes, make sure you're pushing through your big toe and then all the other 4 toes. depending on your footwear and any potential foot issues, that can be harder than one might think. One more, up and down. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and have a seat to show you something that you can be doing when you are on that Zoom call, but you still have to be on camera. What can you be doing, but not have anybody know? Sort of the benefit is most of us are seen, from here up on Zoom. So here we can sort of scoot, midpoint of our chair, sit up tall. We're going to bring one leg up just a little bit. We want a little clearance from the floor, but I'm still up tall. From here, I'm going to extend this leg, and then I'm going to bend it. So as you see me from the side, I'm up nice and tall. What sometimes will happen here is we'll do sort of this. We kind of get the body moving back and forth. We want to kind of lock that core tight, keep that nice stacked posture, and have the work be in the quad, the front of the thigh, potentially some hip flexor, which for some of us, if we sit a lot, myself unfortunately included in that group, the hip flexors can sometimes let you know when you're doing an exercise like this that they are getting a little bit tired. So seeing where you do feel it, my goal would be sort of in the middle of your thigh. We're going to do one more. Okay, and then we're going to switch to the other side. So again, just a little bit of a lift, give yourself some clearance, and out, and back. So here we have the ability to see, is one leg a little bit stronger than the other, have a little bit more range of motion than the other. Some of the exercises we've done today, like the push-up, we have both arms, so we can't always determine which side might be a little bit stronger, and we have to default essentially to the weaker side. Here, particularly if you have some underlying knee issues, hip issues, one leg at a time being quite helpful. And knowing, again, this sort of Goldilocks concept here, where you could theoretically make these more challenging by having an ankle weight on, but you could also just add this pause out here. And you might even notice that you really start to shake when you're doing that. And that is normal. We're going to do one more out and then back. Okay. So that was, what you did, that was 6 exercises, like 15-ish minutes that it took us to do that. So, I want to encourage you to sort of think about, you can totally do these 6. There are so many apps, that are out there, and trainers that are out there, and online things for, not a tremendous amount of money. We have great resources in the Zakim Center at Dana-Farber. We have an entire YouTube channel of exercise classes that you can join. But I hope that this, if strength training has been something you've done in the past, want to get back to, or never done, this gives you some ideas of things you can do in your house with minimal equipment. So thank you all for your attention, and hopefully get a little bio break here. And I appreciate your attention and movement. Take care.
Thank you, Nancy. That was wonderful. I hope that everybody got up and enjoyed that. So now we are going to take a little break, about 10 minutes. And when we come back, we will have an overview of breast imaging. So we'll see you back at 10:45. Thank you.